Hey, everybody. It is time for our next episode, episode 21 of Community Driven. We are live from our grand studios at 5200 Oaklawn Boulevard in North Prince George. I'm your host, Kevin Strosnider, and I have a wonderful, very powerful guest with me here today, Miss Sasha Reynolds. Sasha, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you being here. Sasha is a great part of our community. She's working not only in her own business, but within our schools and within the Rotary Club of Prince George County. I need to make sure I say it the correct way. She is working diligently there. So great to have you. So excited for you to share with us today all that you're doing. We had a really good conversation right before this, and we're going to have another really good conversation. So thank you so much for being here. So let's start off real quick. Sasha, if you would, please introduce yourself to our community and tell them a little bit about your background, where you come from, and what you got going on with Prince George, the Rotary Club of Prince George, and the 800 group. So tell us a little bit about that. Go ahead.
All right, good day, everyone. My name is Sasha Reynolds. My background is I'm a native New Yorker. I am retired military.
What branch?
Army.
Army. Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Army, a mom of 4 kids, business owner, and Rotarian. I'll start off with the Rotary Club. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Prince George County here in Virginia. I serve as the Youth Services Chair and also the Interact Club Advisor. In that role, we address the youth services component of Rotary, and the Interact Club is a youth club for students in the 6th through the 12th grade, ages 12 to 18. And it's philanthropic in nature. We do a lot of community service. We are always interacting and partnering with members and businesses in the community just to fill those needs. One of the most recent things that we've done is we partner with the Healthy Families, and we in support of their 3rd annual gala here in a nearby Hopewell, Virginia. And what that did was it allowed for our interactors to get some community service in while interfacing with different members of the community, representatives in Congress, people in local government, vice mayors, and those that are former and actually still in seat. And what that does is that allows for our youth to be exposed to platforms and people that they generally would not, and to utilize our motto, which is service above self, and to make sure that they live through that. One of the other projects that we've recently done was we did a period poverty project where we supplied sanitary supplies for young women during the menstrual cycle to the school nurse's office. A lot of times the schools are given pretty much standard packages in support for that, and the variety is not there that they need. And you would be surprised at what a problem not having those supplies can cause. It can contribute to students missing school and a variety of other things as well. With that, one of the things that I love about that is, of course, our Interact Club is mixed. So we have males and females. So it not only does it allow the students that are aware of those problems that are going on, it allows those students that are not that have no idea. They may have, they may not have access to that type of information or those situations because they don't have any females at home, or it's rather personal in nature, so it's not talked about. So it was actually a really good learning experience for that. Rotary International is a community service and a philanthropic organization in nature in itself. And so we're all around the world. There's a Rotary Club in every city. So I encourage you to go ahead and look it up, and so that you can go ahead and get plugged in to a community-based club so you can see what's going on in your community and be a part of your community moving forward and addressing local and international issues as well. So we absolutely welcome you. On the professional side, I am the CEO of the 800 Group, and it is a consulting company. And what we do is I'm partnered with financial literacy components to help people to get their finances in order. Okay, just a quick blurb. The financial house is just, which is what I call it. Most people's are condemned. We don't live in a condemned home, but our financial houses are condemned.
Amen.
The reason why I say that is statistics as of right now, approximately 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, which means they're one paycheck away from being homeless or being without, not being able to provide for their family.
Yep.
Credit, that is the floor, foundation of the home, the financial home. Income, that's the ceiling. Okay, so you have things like identity protection, that is the door. Credit monitoring, those would be the windows. Budgeting, which is the big one, that would be the walls that holds up the infrastructure. Okay, and then you have savings. Those are your wires. Make everything connect and make everything work. Net worth. Most people don't talk about that. And so those are some of the things that we help people to realize and to move forward on so that they can grow. Because this big, beautiful word of generational wealth is here, and everybody is saying it, but not so many people are acting on it. And I do understand that sometimes things that are foreign are hard to digest, especially because it wasn't taught in schools, and a lot of us weren't taught financial literacy at home because our parents could not teach us what they did not know. Now that you've been exposed, and I just told you, you have a way to, an outlet or a resource to go ahead and get started on that, okay? In these times, a lot of people, they're uncertain with their finances, and it's just something that we really need to talk about. The youth are looking at us, and we need to make sure that we're setting the example for that and showing them that it's okay to have a problem.
Yeah.
It's not okay to let the problem fester and not go unresolved, okay?
Yes.
And so let's go ahead and fix what we're ashamed of so that we can move forward financially and set the standard for our children so that generational wealth can actually come to fruition.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're kind of on both parts of the spectrum. You're helping people who are through your business who have already kind of been out in the world, and they're struggling through things, and you're helping the youth before they get to that point to try to get them ready, prepare them for that point, because they're going to be there one day. So that's awesome. That's awesome through both sides of what you do. Both of them very much needed. Both of them huge services. So that's awesome. Well, let's dive in a little bit real quick. I'm going to start with the Rotary, and then we're going to come back to the 800 group. So with the Rotary, first off, how long have you been in Rotary? Or a Rotarian?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm learning the terminology here. Go ahead.
I've been a Rotarian since 2018.
Okay. All right. So right at 7 years.
Yes. Right at 7 years.
Right at 7 years. And what made you say, you know what, I want to join this. I want to get involved with the Rotary Club of Prince George County?
Actually, I kept seeing them out in the community.
Oh, okay.
I kept seeing them, the same group of people. I kept seeing them. And then I would look and I would see them. They were involved in tree planting. They were involved in activities at James House. They were involved in all kinds of activities. And I kept seeing the same people. And so one day, I asked, what the organization was, and they shared it with me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll look it up. I did, and then I actually was at a doctor's appointment, met Rotarian Michael Moore.
Oh, Michael Moore, yep, I know
Michael Moore,
yep.
And he said, hey, what are you guys doing? And he invited us to an event. Well, mind you, when we went to the event, not only was he there, but some of the other Rotarians that I had met inadvertently in the community were there. So that started my Rotary journey. Just when I got in the room, I was hooked.
I got you. Yeah, Michael's a good man. He's a very good man. Well, cool. And so you've been in there for 7 years. Now, right now, you said you were. Tell me your role again.
I am the Youth Services Chair.
Okay.
And also the Interact Club Advisor, which is our youth club.
So the youth, how is that a Rotarian thing? Is that for like across all Rotaries, or is that something specific to Prince George?
It is across all Rotary clubs. So all
Okay.
Rotary clubs have a youth services chair, and all Rotary clubs have or will have an Interact club.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
So, how long have you been doing that part, the interact and the services chair?
I started out from the onset. I went to the youth services committee as a committee member, helping with the youth services programs as well as the Interact program. And in the last 3 years, I became the chair of the youth services and also the advisor for the Interact Interact club.
And interact, you said you're in 6th through 12th. Is that correct?
Yes, grades 6 through 12.
In Prince George County.
Absolutely.
6th through 12th. And tell us, like, what is Interact Club? What does that do? Like, what does it look like on a normal basis? What's the experience for the children?
Okay, so for our students, it is an organizational experience. So what they do learn is they learn organizational structure. We have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and other appointed committees. What it allows them to do is allows them to get into leadership roles where they are actually leading. Okay, so I am a facilitator with that, but the students actually lead it. So they come up with the community service projects. They're the ones that input it. They coordinate the logistics. They find the resourcing. They're the ones that go ahead and do the volunteering for all of that. And not only that, they also get to interact with other students from different areas. We have people that play sports. We have people from the band, ROTC, just regular students, and we have them all. So it's open to everyone. So it allows them to interface with people that they generally would never see. And so they get to form relationships with administrators, each other, and that's going to take them from where they are essentially through life. Because once you're connected to Rotary, it's a lifelong. It's a lifelong connection. So they'll leave the high school building as interactors, and once they graduate, they have the option of joining Rotaract in college at the collegiate level, or going straight into Rotary International. So it is a lifelong connection, and I share with them that it's actually resume building. So for parents that are looking and interested in that, it's something that your student can get involved in, and it's a resume producing activity and a resume producing association. Again, once you're connected to Rotary, the option is for life. We have scholarships at the Rotary level that, as a matter of fact, we're having a scholarship picnic on Wednesday, May 21st at Scott Park. And so anyone who is interested in that can definitely look up Rotary Club of Prince George County and figure out how to get the tickets. We would love to have you to show you actually exactly who we are. And so with those connections, we are reinforcing everything that they've learned in school, but we're actually putting that into action. So, a lot of people are used to leading projects and being in there, but a lot of it is fed. This is what you need to do. This is how you're going to do it. What we do is we take those leadership skills and we go ahead and we enhance them because they're allowed to actually lead. Okay? They're allowed to actually lead. They do have people to give them guidance on that so they can bounce ideas off of, because at young ages, a lot of are unsure. And so the second guessing. It's okay to second guess, but go ahead and move forward, make a decision. And so that's what we teach. And speaking about teaching, if you bump into any of our Interact Club members, you'll get them in. They'll do a full introduction with the elevator speech, and you'll be able to see that we have some thriving, young, hungry, individuals that are just eager to learn and eager to make a difference. So absolutely love it. The energy's like amazing.
That's awesome. How many students do you have?
We have approximately 30.
Okay.
We have approximately 30, and that's on a consistent basis. On the rolls, it's probably 50. However, sports. So sports season, and because we are in the school, and so I'm glad that you asked that because to interact is something that you can do while still maintaining everything else that you do. You do not have to isolate yourself only to interact. We understand that there are other things that you want to do. You're in school. This is the time that you get to do everything and be unsure about anything.
Yep.
So I absolutely encourage it. And with that, though, our membership is very strong. So it lets us know that we have a place and there's a market for our platform.
Yeah,
So I'm very happy about that.
A group, I remember going through a group of 30 to 50 is huge. I mean, that's really big. Now, y'all meet after school?
Yes.
Meet after school?
Yes. So we meet.
How often?
We meet twice a month on the second and the fourth Thursday. And after school, it's 3 to 4. And if you go to Prince George High School, you can definitely look up the Interact Club. The school advisor there is Mr. Antoine Ford. Okay. Mr. Antoine Ford. So what a meeting looks like is they'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Robert's Rules of Order, if anyone is familiar, and so they get to learn the infrastructure of an actual organization, and I absolutely love that. So they do that. They vote. They take minutes.
That's awesome.
We make motions, everything that goes into a regular meeting, and they go ahead and they make decisions as a body. So we have an executive. We have an executive staff, which is all the elected officers, and then you have the general membership, and everyone works together to go ahead, accomplish whatever the missions are. So it is, it's an exciting experience, and we're always doing something out in the community as well. So there are plenty of times that we align with our Rotary Club to partner with projects on them. We do have some coming up in the near future, and we also do things autonomously on our own, and that's to give, again, the students an opportunity to lead, see a problem, identify it, and bring a solution.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's stuff like that is so needed in the school. It is, as a former school teacher, I told you that, as a former school teacher, I can teach, I taught math. And you can teach them the methods behind doing mathematical problems and calculating mathematical problems. One of the things in school that I've always felt was one of the biggest lacks within the school system is teaching children how to thrive in this world. We teach them how to learn history. We teach them how to speak and write English. Yes. We teach them how to calculate a math problem or scientific equation and all that good stuff. But the vast majority of what is going to make them successful is the interpersonal relationships. And we just assume that they're just going to figure that out on their own. Yes. and so it's crazy. Like this is probably more needed than any other actual educational thing. And that's coming from a former school teacher. It is so needed that the children learn how to have successful, thriving interactions with other human beings.
Yes, it is super important, and it's transparent though. The problem is transparent. They don't realize it, and a lot of times nobody's helping them to realize it. Interaction is one of the main things that we do. As the facilitator, as the advisor, I actually screen, and if we have someone who is super quiet, kind of, isolated, I can pull them up. Again, so that it's comfortable for them, but to let everyone know that they have a voice. Yeah. Most people don't realize that they have a voice, and if they do, they don't know how to use it. And so what we do is we focus on personal development. That is one of the things that we absolutely do, along with the elevator speech, proper introduction, etiquette, at the baseline, okay?
Absolutely.
Now, we have fun and we go out and eat on field trips and things, and sometimes we don't use etiquette because we're having fun.
I understand that part too.
You gotta let the kids be kids sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the basic interactions, speaking to people, looking them in the eye when you speak to them, proper posture and body language, getting up in front of a room full of people and speaking. So with ours, we have elections for our elected and appointed officers. And one of the things that we've figured out in our club that is going to help with the personal development is making a speech for your candidacy for whatever position it is that you're running for. Okay, and it is a good time. It's fun. It's fun. You see a lot of nervous energy, but when you look back, the growth.
Oh yeah.
The growth.
Absolutely.
It is the growth, and what it does is it gives them a whole different posture from what you saw in the beginning.
Yep.
And a lot of times I'll videotape that just because I want them to see
yeah.
the fidgeting is gone, the looking all over the place, the 59 and things. So when people see that, especially when you see it in yourself, it is something to be proud of. And I share that with them. And also, speaking of that, a lot of recognition goes unsaid, you know? And so I tell people that you need to make sure that not only do you recognize it for yourself, but appreciate when other people recognize it. But it's okay if they don't.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't define who you are.
Yes,
100%.
Okay?
And so a lot of times, our youth are not told that. And so I make sure, to tell them, it's okay. If you know you did it, you're going to reap the reward later.
But Sasha, we're in a world that craves recognition. That's the social media world.
Yeah.
That craves the likes and the and how many views did I get on this video and how many hearts did I get in comments. So you're 100% that recognition is cool, but recognition is not what makes you important. It's not what is your value. Your value is you and what you're the growth that you're experiencing, not necessarily if people recognize it or not.
Absolutely, and that's important, I think, for our youth to know that because of all that they're dealing with, especially with social media. We have to understand that it is okay to stand alone and do what you know needs to be done, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to either reap the consequences or the benefits of that. The recognition will come. And most of the time, it's better if it hits your bank account, not a pat on the back. So.
Yeah, yes, 100%. Yes, recognize me in the bank.
Yes. So, and we talk about that. So we talk about negotiating. We talk about, bringing value. And for the Interact Club, we've had judges come out. We've had career specialists come out. We're going to have a medical professional come out. I'm not sure exactly who I can get yet. I have 2 people, so I'm not going to be premature. I want to wait till I get the confirmation. But what we do is I also bring our professionals in the fields that our interactors are looking to go in, so that they actually had a face-to-face with someone who was in that field, so they can ask those questions that maybe they're scared to ask, or the recruiting videos are not going to show you.
Yes.
I think it's important, and self-worth is directly connected to self-love.
Yep.
It helps to make sure that you are practicing self-care and getting and demanding the respect that each of us deserves. And so it pours and rolls into so many other things that you don't even have to say it, because when you start with one, it just automatically, each of those other components just kind of rolls in there. And before you know it, you got this young individual and sometimes the parents, and the individual themselves, they won't even recognize themselves because of the progress that is. When did this happen?
That's awesome. Let's switch gears just a little bit and let's talk real quick about your 800 group. First off, the name. What's 800 group? What does that mean?
Okay, so the idea behind the name was credit scores. So the lowest credit score is 300 and the highest credit score is an 850. At the 800, you are in the excellent credit score range. And so when we get to a bar of excellence, it's always recognized and an opportunity to celebrate.
Okay.
So I
that
thought
makes
that
sense now.
the 800 group, starting at 800, was an excellent way to acknowledge, hey, You know,
A
I made it
standard
here.
of excellence.
And
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
and this is where it's at.
That's
So.
awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, or tell us, what so some of the things that you do. You already described kind of why you do it, but what are some of the services that you offer through 800 Group?
Awesome. So some of the services that we offer here are credit restoration. Lowest credit score is 300, highest credit score is an 850. Oh, and
Just so you know, the new thing, and we see this in auto, 900. They've switched
Yes.
it. They have switched it to
Yeah.
900 because we had a 900 the other day in here. I was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen that before.
Yes. So in that area, so I'm glad you said that. You have multiple credit scores.
Yes.
Okay.
Bureaus.
So what Kevin is talking about is he's talking about the auto credit score.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a little class.
Yeah.
You
Teach
have
us.
an auto credit score, and that has, as Kevin shared, increased to 930. Now everything else is going to catch up with that, but that's one of the first areas that
I
it
did not
started
know
in.
that. Okay.
All right, and
That's
so
good.
you have your purchase credit score, which is the credit score, the FICO that everybody else is talking about when you get a line of credit that's pulled. You also have an insurance credit score.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a
Now a lot of people don't realize that, but that is why they ask you your social security number when you get
Yes.
homeowners, life, auto, or any type of insurance because they're pulling the credit score. Okay. We also, so that's just one of the things, credit restoration. And as I shared, we got about 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck, which means that they're not going to be able to afford to maintain a healthy credit score. Okay. Now, also what comes with that is budgeting. I share that bad budget is bad finances. We're sitting in a successful car dealership, and that's because they know how to budget. So if all the organizations around us that have their doors open know how to budget, that is an indication that individuals and families need to budget as well. Okay, but that's not happening. Okay,
Yeah.
so I can definitely help you with that. Savings. Oh my gosh, savings. Now savings. Dealing with net worth, most people don't know their net worth. They can name 10 celebrities' net worth, but they can't name their own. And it's something that we want to know because we want to grow it. We all have legacies. You have children, I have children. And so what's left behind goes in calculates into that net worth. Okay? And so most people are like, well, I don't have a net worth. I don't care. I'm not worth anything. That's absolutely not true. That's absolutely not true. Once we take a look, you'll be like, oh, okay. And so what it is your financial report card starts with your credit score. Okay? We sit there and constantly hound our kids about getting A's and B's, or maybe straight A's like in our household. But what is your financial report card score? Okay? Is it an A? If it's an 800, between 800 and 850, you got an A.
Yeah.
Anything other than that, then not so much.
Yeah.
So, as adults, as the leaders, as the people setting an example, we want to make sure that we identify a problem, and that's okay. But fixing the problem is where you want to be, so that we can pass that information on and set the example for those,
Absolutely.
for those that are behind us. And even some of those that are lateral to our left and right, they're looking at us because we are who they identify as the mentor, the leaders, the person that they look up to. And sometimes that's unbeknownst to us. Okay? However, if you're not getting your finances straight, then you may want to go ahead and figure that out. We also offer services like life insurance because most people, if they're having finance problems, they don't have life insurance.
Yep.
So one of the things that we want to do is we want to get you financially postured so you can bring in everything that's supposed to be there for your finances. Okay? Those that are in business, most business owners are paying money out of their pocket to finance their business because they don't qualify for business funding. Okay?
Yep.
Well, we fund up to $10 million.
Oh, wow.
Up to $10 million. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you're blocking the opportunities that you have when you're not financially postured. And it's starting with the credit score, the budgeting, knowing what you got coming in, what you have going out. the savings. Do you have $10,000 in the case of an emergency or if something happened, a job loss, something to hold you over? 2020 showed us not so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
2020 showed us not so much. And so it's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Most people don't want to share where they're having problems with, especially with people that they know.
Yeah.
However, in order to fix that problem, you have to reach out and get the help it is that you need.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do it and you could do it on your own,
Yeah.
you would have did it already.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would have done it already, you know?
Absolutely.
And we wouldn't have approximately 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck. So we help people to get financially postured. We help them to make more income if that is a goal for them, so that they can turn around and feel proud in what they have. I've seen people say, no, I'm not going to apply for the credit card because I know I'm not going to get approved. My question is, what are you doing about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing about it? So
Absolutely.
we've developed a mindset where it is okay to have your finances in a disarray, and to be uncertain about where you're going financially, and that is absolutely something that needs to change, especially in this day. Automation is taking over jobs, so the money that you do have coming in, we want to make sure that you're allocating it where it needs to go. That doesn't mean that you have to stop.
Yeah.
Stop drinking your sweet drinks and your coffees and things, but it does mean that you need to take a look to see if some of the decisions that we're making are hurting us more than they're helping us.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so Sasha, you're sitting there talking, and I was thinking about how many people they see where they're at, and they know they don't want to be there. They're upset with themselves because they're there, and they want to be somewhere else, and they feel like, I know I should be somewhere else, but it's that cycle of your mind beating you down of, you did this to yourself. I can't believe you would do this to yourself. And then we stay in that cycle because of the mindset of we're not good enough because we put ourselves in this position, versus, hold on a second, it's not that you aren't good enough, it's that you probably weren't educated enough. And so helping to break that cycle, that really 99% of it is in your head.
It is.
It's not in truth and reality, it's in mindset. And breaking that cycle is huge.
It is. And it's not as hard as people think.
Yes.
It's not as hard as people think. Sometimes, if we had gotten financial literacy in the formative years between 5 and 7, the influential years between essentially 8 and 18, then it would be a no-brainer. Because most adults did not, it's just a little bit harder, but it's the simple, just do it. It's just making a decision. It's aligning yourself with someone. On our platform, we have customer support team, we have financial literacy consultants like myself. And so what we do is we actually make a connection with the individual so we can figure out what's going on a personal level, customized to their situation, to figure out what it is that you need and how we can help you to achieve that. Nobody wakes up wanting to fail.
Yeah.
And so with that should be enough. And if it's not enough, I'm telling you it is enough. So go ahead and make a phone call or send a text message to get that started, because you have people that are looking at you.
Yeah.
Now, anybody who you get to boss around or you get to give guidance or direction to, I would challenge you to think about this. What would they say about you if they knew your financial situation today? Would they take you as seriously as they do before as they would after they found that out?
Yeah.
Okay? If that is the case, then there's some work that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's the case, there's some work that needs to be done. If you don't have an 850 credit score, there's some work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And that's okay. What's not okay is knowing that and not doing anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? So.
Absolutely. I've heard the statement, don't take advice from someone who you wouldn't trade bank accounts with.
That
You
is,
know,
I agree.
especially
Wholehearted.
financial advice. You know, don't take financial advice from someone if you would not trade bank accounts with that
I
person.
wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
And don't co-sign.
Yes. I hear you on that.
Okay.
Yes, I
Yes.
hear you on
So,
that.
absolutely.
Sasha, this is awesome. This has been a great conversation. In the interest of time, we are going to wrap it up a little bit, but it's been a great conversation, and thank you so much for what you do in the community, both on the volunteer side and the professional side. Both of them are extremely needed. Let's wrap it up. We'll wrap it up with 3 questions. I could really keep going. The conversation we had before this was a whole other podcast in itself. It was great. But let's wrap it up with these 3 questions. So, I personally do a lot of personal development. I read a lot of books. I listen. Well, I don't read anymore. I don't have time to read because I fall asleep when I read. So I listen in the car, but I'm listening to books all the time. I just told you earlier I'm listening to Leaders Eat Last right now, Simon Sinek. Love books. I have books that have highly influenced my life and the way I think and have sent me on the journey of trying to develop myself. What is a book that you would say has probably been the most inspirational or the one that has impacted your life and sent you in the right trajectory more than any other book?
There are several, but one that comes to the top of my head is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Are you familiar?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
at least 3 or 4 times I've read that one.
Yes, and it's because it talks about exactly what we just finished talking about, mindset. Mindset, and it is not set in stone, okay? It can be changed. Absolutely. It literally just takes some intentional movement on some intentional action. And I love that book because the way that he breaks it down, let him know that it actually is in your mind. We're a product of our environments. And so with that, I always tell people you can do 3 things with your environment. You can replicate it completely, okay? You can go off the beaten path and do something completely different, reject everything. Or you can take a hybrid. And the hybrid I prefer is taking the things that work for you and the things that don't, you can go ahead and discard those.
Yes.
So that's one of the books that come to mind when you ask that question.
Have you ever read Outwitting the Devil from Napoleon Hill?
It is on my bookshelf, but honestly, I have not yet.
You need to read it. There's parts where I was like, okay. There's some little, but 90% of it, 95% of it, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And he's having this conversation with the devil, and the devil talking about how he tricks humans into doing what he wants them to do. And it's like I'm sitting there reading it, I'm like, listening to it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this, how true, like. And this was written in the 40s, 30s, 40s, whenever Napoleon Hill, I think it was in that range. And today is just as applicable. His stuff is amazing. All his books are amazing.
That's going to be my next one. I'm going to pull it off the shelf.
It's good. It's really, really good. All right. Second question is, you have 2 minutes, and you have all of Prince George, Hopewell, Petersburg, Dinwiddie, Sussex, Surrey, Charles City, Matoaka, Chester, all this area, this entire area, looking at Sasha Reynolds. And they've all got their ear to say, Sasha. They're cheering for you. You got 2 minutes to give them wisdom. What wisdom would you give them if you only had 2 minutes?
Okay, the first thing I would do is I would say, go ahead and get your finances in order. The reason being is money does not buy happiness, but it does solve 90% of the problems that make you unhappy. The other 10% is filtering out people in your circle that need to be in and those that need to be out, okay? So that's where I would start, okay? I also would say that relationships are one of the most important things that you can have in life. We're mammals, so we're social creatures, okay? Value the relationships that are worth valuing. Let the rest of them fall by the wayside, because time is the one thing we don't have a refund on.
That's right.
And when you give people your time, you are giving them the one thing that you cannot control. That's your most precious commodity.
Yeah,
so spend it wisely, with those people that you love and like. okay, that you love and like. Also, what I would do is I would say, for those of you that are connected to people that are young, make sure that you're being the example that you want them to be. Okay? Now, we're trying to develop our youth because the youth, they're out here, they're the future. We want them to be everything we want them to be, but are we setting the example for them? That's not going to happen overnight, so I'm not saying that. But what I will say is small pivots lead to big turns.
Yeah.
Okay? And also, I would close by saying, regardless of what's going on around you, stay true to yourself and treat people like you would want to be treated. Because at the end of the day, we are all connected.
Yeah.
You never know when someone in your family is going to be sitting in the same living room as someone from another family, and y'all are going to be connected because last names are going to be exchanged.
Yeah, that's true.
And so make sure that you have your money together, your morals together, and I think that I would close with that.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great advice. All right, last question.
Sure.
This is the most important question.
Okay.
What's your all-time favorite car? Dream car?
All-time favorite car, dreams car. I would say Porsche.
Porsche, okay.
I would say, I would say Porsche.
Go with the Porsche. I like
think
it.
it's customized to me. I'm little, I'm short. So when I look and I go in, I say, oh, this little bit of room here. This is customized to me.
That's cool. That's cool. Sasha, thank you so much for being here. This has been awesome. I love the conversation. Y'all, please make sure you go out and support the Rotary Club of Prince George. We got the May 21st at Scott Park. If you're from this area, you know where Scott Park is. May 21st, we have it's for the why can't I think of the
picnic.
The picnic
Scholarships.
I couldn't think of that word, scholarship. For the scholarship fund for the picnic. Please go out and support them. The Rotary Club of Prince George does amazing work, not only in the Interact, which is what Sasha is involved in, but throughout the community in so many areas. As she was describing that earlier, they do amazing work. Great people in this area. So please go out and support that. And also, if you are looking to make a little bit of a change in the direction, your trajectory of your future, reach out to Sasha and her 800 group. That would be an amazing connection as well. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the phone number is 804-251-0800. That's 804-251-0800.
Absolutely.
The 800 group.
And we'll put that. We can put that in the in the comments or in something else too. So yeah, look for that in the description. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us on episode 21 of Community Driven, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.